What is experimental research design? Experimental research design is a framework of protocols and procedures created to conduct experimental research with a scientific approach using two sets of variables. Herein, the first set of variables acts as a constant used to measure the differences of the second set. The best example of experimental research methods is a quantitative research. Experimental research helps a researcher gather the necessary data for making better research decisions and determining the facts of a research study. When can a researcher conduct experimental research? There are following situations when time is an important factor in establishing a relationship between the cause and effect. When there is an invariable or never changing behavior between the cause and effect, then can be done. Finally, when the researcher wishes to understand the importance of cause and effect. Now, what is importance of experimental research? To publish significant result, choosing a quality research design forms the foundation to build the research study. Moreover, effective research design helps establish quality decision making procedures, structure the research to lead to easier data analysis, and addresses the main research questions. Therefore, it is essential to get a undivided attention and time to create an experimental research design before beginning the practical experiment. So, by creating a research design, a researcher is also giving oneself time to organize the research, set up relevant boundaries for the study, and increases the reliability of the results. Through all these efforts, one could also avoid conclusive results. If any part of the research design is flawed, it will reflect on the quality of the results derived. There are different types of experimental research design. Based on the method used to collect data in experimental studies, the experimental research design are of three primary types: pre experimental, true experimental, quasi experimental. Pre experimental research study could conduct pre experimental research designs when a group or many group are under observation after implementing factors of cause and effect of the research. The pre experimental design will help researchers understand whether further investigation is necessary for the groups under the observation. Pre experimental research is of three types: one shot case study research design, one group pretest post test research design, and statistic group comparison. Then comes true experimental research design that relies on statistical analysis to prove or disapprove a researcher's hypothesis. It is one of the most accurate forms of research because it provides specific scientific evidence. Furthermore, out of all the types of experimental designs, only a true experimental design can establish a cause effect relationship within a group. However, in a true experiment, a researcher must satisfy three factors. There is control group that is not subjected to change, an experimental group that will experience the changed variable. And the next scenario could be a variable that can be manipulated by the researcher, random distributions of the variable. This type of experimental research is commonly observed in the physical science. Third is quasi experimental research design. The word quasi means similarity. A quasi experimental design is similar to true experimental design. However, the difference between the two is the assignment of the control group. In this research design, an independent variable is manipulated, but the participants of a group are not randomly assigned. This type of research design is used in field settings where random assignment is either irrelevant or not required. The classification of the research subjects, conditions, or groups determines the type of research design to be used. There are certain advantages also in experimental designs that allows you to test your idea in a controlled environment. before taking the research to clinical trials. Moreover, it provides the best method to test your theory because researchers have firm control over variables to obtain results. The subject does not impact the effectiveness of experimental research. Anyone can implement it for research purpose. The results here are specific. Post-result analysis, research findings form. The same dataset can be repurposed for similar research ideas. Research can identify the cause and effect of the hypothesis and further analyze this relationship to determine in-depth ideas. Experimental research makes an ideal starting point. The collection data could be used as a foundation to build new research ideas for further studies.